know we have a packed house here, so if we can stay quiet, not have private conversations going on, and keep your questions till the end, it will go a whole lot better. Anthony and Deena.
Ready? Well, I guess a lot of y'all here today. 71 degrees outside, so wonder what it's going to be inside. So how many investigators we have here? How many people are interested? All right, let me play something for you. I know you all familiar with this. To me is like the first original investigators I ever known in history. All right? So when you hear this, you know what's up. All right? Who know about Scooby? Right? All right. Scooby, then you got who? Lorraine Warren and Ed and then us, right? I promise you we're not like Scooby, the scary ones who's afraid of everything. Let me introduce ourselves. My name is Anthony Holmes. This is my wife, Deena Holmes, and we are a husband and wife research team. You don't see a whole lot of that out there. The name of our team, well, us two, is Divine Research Society of Unexplained Phenomena. The reason why we chose that name because we don't just want to do ghosts. I get bored quick, and if I just do ghosts for a little bit, then I'm like, that's it, I don't want no more. So we do a lot of paranormal investigations. We do a lot of squatching, meaning Bigfoot research. We are part of MUFON, which is the largest UFO network in America. So we do a little bit of everything. I mean, you call us and say there's a little green man running in your room and you need help. We'll help you. That's what we do. We help no matter what the cost is. We help. And it's a good thing, though. And the best thing about being a husband and wife team is that you don't have to like call your girlfriend or she bug you. Where you at? You know, what time you be home? You got your mate with you, you know what I mean? So that's one good thing. We're happy to be here at this first event. And it's a big event for the first time. So can we give it a round of applause? Yeah, I like it. So I see a lot of familiar faces here. Some I don't know. Some I do know. Glad you're here. We've been investigating for a while. I've been investigating for a while myself. And I've been investigating since probably 2008, somewhere around there. I'll tell you a little bit about how I got started. I'm a musician. I'm a drummer, percussionist. And coming up as a child, 7 years old, I started traveling the world doing music full time. And I did a lot of West African drumming. So doing that type of drumming, you're playing for rituals and stuff like that in places where the paranormal is like the normal for them. It's not normal for us. We'll go to church or something, but in them third world countries, Africa, India, it's like a daily thing. I mean, you do something to someone in Africa, they're not gonna call the police and lock you up. They're going to go home and you might wake up tomorrow from whatever they do from their house. So it's like that serious. And I played for ceremonies, for different rituals, and I've seen things with my own eyes. So yes, the paranormal is real. It's very real. We had a lot of experiences coming up. And when I first started doing a paranormal in Maryland, the first group I started with was Inspired Ghost Tracking. Margaret, I call her mom. And she's part of the group as well. And done a lot of things there. Then I got married and moved to Hagerstown. See what marriage do? It take you all the way to the other side of the earth. But in during that point, we started doing little stuff. We helped out one group, Antietam Paranormal Society, out there for a little bit since they just lived down the street. But then accountability is good when you're in a group, but it's awesome when you are the group. you and your wife. So we took on tasks of going places and investigating, going to places that everybody loves, cemeteries, going into the woods and taking ventures here and there. And during that point, we ran into some serious stuff. Some stuff that really bothered us at times, and then stuff that was okay. And then it kind of like started fading. We kind of got bored. So that's when we came up with all the other things that we do. And we said, we know a lot of groups do things like EVPs, go places, go to abandoned places and stuff like that. But it becomes the norm too much. And we said, well, it's time for us to start thinking outside of the box. Do something different, do something new, do something most people don't do, you know. When investigating, people do the same routines, the videos, the EVP recorders, or if you're a medium and a psychic, you do the same card reading, do the same thing. I mean, what can you do different though, you know? I know a lot of people here do things, probably be bored doing it, you know, do something different, you know, and get out there and research and do something that you never knew. Like, we never knew about Squatch, Bigfoot, or UFOs, but everybody heard of Bigfoot, right? What does someone think that Bigfoot is? Anybody? I'm going to tell you what I think. How about this? The sea is huge as heck, right? The ocean. We're still finding things in the ocean we never seen ever. And I think with Squatch, a lot of times that people think it's something from another dimension or this and that. It can be very well a primate that we never discovered. We're discovering stuff every day, you know, every day. So it's good to get out there and research, because you won't know nothing unless you get out there and do it. You have a lot of teams out there doing paranormal research, and they get out there and do it, but they don't know anything about what they're doing before they get out there. They'll just go get some equipment, some things like that, go somewhere and act up. And when you do stuff like that, you run into stuff that you don't want to. You know, so it's good to get out there and learn and educate yourself. You know, it's good to be educated in what you do and not just go out there and do it aimlessly and not know what you're doing. And those who are interested in paranormal research and fascinated about what you see on TV and how things look, you know, how many people watch the TV shows? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know y'all got favorites and all this stuff. And it amazes me how that there's something paranormal happening after every commercial. No, it doesn't work that way. We've done investigations, and we investigated from 8 p.m. to 6 in the morning and got nothing on numerous of times. And then we have been on private investigations and got something the first 3 minutes we got in a house, you know. And I tell people all the time, even those I talk to who are on TV, that what is your motive? All of us out here have a motive. What are you bringing into the field of investigation? What do you want to learn? Do you have a good motive behind it or a bad one? Or do you just want to get a name or get rich? Some people sign contracts without reading it, and then when don't nothing happen on TV, the producer say, well, we got to make something happen. That's deceiving the people who's watching it. You want something real. And I understand entertainment and stuff like that, but it's good to have something real, you know. That's why when I meet people who are on TV, they're fine with me if when you off of TV, you're doing something that make a difference and not just on TV. You get me? So we've been doing all these things and experiences, and we went to, I'm just telling y'all a little bit about our experiences. Who heard of Ohio State Reformatory? That's where they filmed Shawshank Redemption. We did an investigation there, and we was with a group, and normally the groups break out on like 7 people or something. But every time me and my wife go, it's just us two. So it was just us two in this huge penitentiary in the West Side cell block. And as soon as we got there, you just feel it. It just feels crazy. And we were setting up equipment and doing things, and we got, who knows what an EVP is? Those who don't know, it's the electronic voice phenomena. Stuff you get on, you know, your recorder that you might not hear audibly, or sometimes you can. And I was setting up a camera, and we got an EVP that said a little bit lower. And a lot of the EVPs we get, we not doing EVPs. We just got the recorder running, and we talking amongst ourselves. But someone always trying to join the conversation. It's like, stop, you know. And so it said a little bit lower. I said, okay, a little bit lower. And we set it up, and it was, I mean, dark, man, pitch black. And we was in the middle of the cell block, and I looked down the other end. This is one of our worst experiences. I looked down the other end, and it was red eyes looking at me. Now, I thought it was a raccoon, but I'm stupid. Raccoons ain't 6, 7 feet tall, duh. This thing was so tall, scared me. And I'm not the type to get scared, but it got me. And I hit my wife, and I said, something down there. So I was looking at the walls and making sure nothing's scanning the walls or anything. So we waited a while, and it kind of creeped through a pathway real slow, just looking like this. And after 15, 20 minutes, we went down to see what area it went in. And when it went into an area, it went into a room where there was no steps, no doors, just a wall. So it just vanished. I said, oh, time to go. So we went back down. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I am an African American, right? And don't think that this is something that I wanted to do for life. Who watched the horror movies? We the first to go. So don't think that, yeah, we the first to go and the first to perish too, you know, and so don't think that this is something that I wanted to do famously. No. So when we were down there, I went back to the video camera stuff, and I was like, how about, I said something like, well, how about we go to the other side or something like that. And we got an EVP that said, come on back. And it was a Class A EVP. When my wife heard it in the house, she threw the earphones off. I'll tell you what happened after that, but I brought the EVP with me. Y'all can listen to it. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the other side of the West Wing. Come on back. Who heard it? It just said, come on back. And we was like, whoa. So she threw the earphones off, and all kinds of stuff started happening in the house. Voices. She was hearing things a lot. Every time she take a shower, there was something right there outside. Yeah, it was something outside the shower. And it was just something else. The dog was tripping, staring at one area of the house all the time. And she would come to me and tell me a lot. And me being a man, I just be on the couch like, all right, we'll get to it. But then I started sensing it too. And a buddy of ours called and said, because I posted a picture from there, and he said, you know, your wife got an attachment? I said, yeah. So this thing came home with us. But we got rid of it and stuff like that, and that was that. But if you can imagine that, we were there all night. So that, and plus the whole time we were there, stuff was happening all over the place. Who been to Ohio State Reformatory? That place is huge. Beautiful on the outside, but crazy on the inside. I get cussed out all the time and stuff. I got cussed out a lot there and stuff like that. So it's good to be aware of your surroundings and what you're doing and stuff like that. And other than that, things for us has been going well. Been going really well. So we had some good adventures and bad ones, but majority of the time good. And our good friend Kendra in the back, we know her. She'd be speaking after us sometimes, so you gotta be here for it. So we've been doing a lot of that. And who are familiar with Ed and Lorraine Warren? A lot of people. Okay. We work with them as well. We're part of their research team. And I could give you a little bit on how I met Lorraine. We met Lorraine. I was just sitting on the couch, and type of wife I got is like, if I say, let's just do something, she just be ready to go and do it. I love that. So I said, let's go up to the museum. You know, she has a museum in Connecticut. And we went up there, and the setting is just like this in her house. Her son-in-law, Tony, and Judy do a lecture. Then we go down to the museum where Annabelle is. Y'all heard of that? So I help out with transporting Annabelle a lot, taking her around places and stuff. And yeah. Every time I post a picture of me with Annabelle carrying her pig, I get 1 billion comments. But it's okay. When you go in the museum, it's just, I love the smell of sage. You just smell the sage and frankincense, and you can feel the prayers in there. And they have a father that lives there who blesses the museum all the time, 3 times a week. And after we spend time in the museum, we would go up the street to Ed Warren's gravesite. And we'll research there and take psychic photos or whatever and look at everything and talk to Tony and talk about our experience. Then after that, I mean, it starts at 7, we end like 12 midnight or after. Because after the gravesite, we go up to a restaurant called Roberto's, Italian restaurant, and we eat there and stuff like that. And me and my wife were sitting over on the side, and Lorraine was there, and she she said, come here. So I went over there, and she was like, where y'all go? I said, well, we came up here where everybody was going to be at. She said, I was looking for you two. I said, yes, ma'am. What's up? She said, here's my number. Call me anytime you need me. So we got her number, and every time after that, she's just been mom. You know, and we used to call her like once or twice a week just to check on her, but not to talk about anything paranormal, but just to talk to her, to see if she's okay. That's the type of people we need. Not everything is paranormal. You know, love them, talk to them, see how they're doing. So we talk to her and stuff, and now it's like we go up for holidays. We have cookouts in her backyard. We go to the museum, hang out whenever we want, and she has another mate staying there from Jamaica, like a house, helping her out, and she makes the best jerk chicken in the world. So we sit around and eat jerk chicken and talk, and Lorraine sit there, she look at us, and she be like, I really love what you two are doing. And it's awesome, you know, it's priceless to get someone to say that. So we cherish that. And she's a 91 now. She's getting up in age, but she's still alert. We were up there at a cookout, and we were in the backyard, and she goes in and out because we were sitting there together. And she look at me and my wife, and she'll say, I'm here every day, you know, in the backyard. And we say, yeah, it's beautiful. 5 minutes later, I'm here every day. I know, yeah. 10 minutes later, I'm here. You know, she go in, you know. So we just talk with her and have a good time. But we go up there all the time and still do a lot. We'll be up there next weekend, actually, at one of the events doing stuff like that. So she's very sweet. And the thing about them, Tony, you know, Judy, her daughter, Judy, and her husband, Tony, they do everything now. And they're serious about what they do. It's no playing, no joke, you know. And the main thing is helping families, and that's what we do. So we used to do a lot of big investigations, but we help families. Our main thing is people. Buildings are always going to be a building or whatever, but people, lives can be changed. So, who know Katrina from Paranormal Lockdown? She's like a little sister to us. She call us, and she give us cases to take care of for her, because she has her own group outside of that TV stuff. She has her own group. Yeah. And she has her own paranormal group. It's a few of them. And she had a case in West Virginia, and she called us and asked if we can help her with this. So we went out in West Virginia and took care of it. Now, this case was something else because something didn't want us there. Now, when I say West Virginia, who's seen a wrong turn? Yeah, that one. Yeah. It was like if you get stuck on the wrong road, then the wrong turn people going to come and get you. It was like that, West Virginia, you know. And I wasn't carrying or nothing. I'm licensed to carry, but I didn't carry. We were just out there. And on the way, this huge hawk came toward the car and almost hit us. Went right past the windshield. Big. Number one, I don't want you here. When we got there and we talked to the people, took care of the case, had them to get rid of some stuff in the house, Ouija boards, some things that was causing a lot of issues. Talked to their kids and stuff, and they did it all. We had a prayer, and we took care of everything like we were supposed to, and it went awesome. So, and I told them we're family now. I said, when y'all see us back, it's going to be when y'all like have the cookout, and we're going to come and make a plate and hang out, some Kool-Aid, some potato salad, you know, and do some stuff. But on the way back, going up, we were back at the wrong turn stuff. Going through the mountains, this black thing runs in front of the car, bigger than a bear. But it was so quick that you couldn't make out the image of what it was. And this was daytime, kind of. So that thing, if that would have hit us, we would have been hurt too. This thing was huge. My wife was, she's, whoa, you know. Well, 50 feet up, raccoon runs in front of the car. He ain't make it. I'm sorry, but he didn't make it. He got boom. And we hit the raccoon so hard that you know he was busted up. But we prayed about it. So when we got out the mountains, we went to the gas station down there and stuff like that. Went to the gas station and, you know, to look at the car. And I got out. There wasn't a dent. There wasn't a piece of hair. There was not even blood. It was spotless, nothing. But we hit a raccoon hard. Whereas though you know when you see roadkill on the ground, that type hard. So some of the things we experienced on privates, you know. And we did a private at one house, and when there's children involved, we get there quickly. Because one thing about the paranormal is there's a good side and there's a bad side. I'm a Christian, and if you read the Bible, the whole Bible is paranormal. That's where it started. That's where it started. And I tell people all the time that protection is the key. Because if you don't have it, you short. That Ohio State reformatory incident that we went and researched, that's the only night we did not pray. And the only time we got really jacked up like that. And I tell people all the time, don't just pray when you are on an investigation. Make it a lifestyle. Not just a Sunday thing or not just an investigation, but make it a lifestyle. And we do devotion all the time and pray every morning. And I pray a prayer of protection for my wife every morning. And thank God I did. I almost lost her. She was coming from work in a car. The light was green. A car was coming from the other side, but it didn't stop. So if she would have kept going just a little bit more, it would have hit her. She would have been dead. But she kind of stopped. And the car went straight past her and hit a tree or something. It messed up real bad and flipped. And that could have been her. But that prayer of protection shielded her and protected her. So it's so important for us. We need to pray that prayer of protection so that we're protected, you know. And truthfully, God has done so much stuff for me. I had a stroke 2 Christmases ago. I had a major stroke. And look at me now. You can't even tell. And I thought that was it, because I was like, you know, if this is how I'm going to go, I want to be ready. So I made sure I was ready to take that next step. But like I tell people all the time, the paranormal is real. You're first a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. Your original state of being is spirit. And I tell people all the time who are psychics and mediums that so many people have a gift and they feel that they're a medium or a psychic. And I say, no. You're first a spirit. And when that spirit, God imparts spiritual gifts, you're just getting in tune with the real you, the spirit man. You see what I'm saying? Just because you have that gift, don't call yourself a psychic or a medium like that. Oh, this it came to pass. I'm a psychic. No, you're not. You're a spirit, and you have gifts that needs to be developed. So all of us have a gift because we all a spirit first. And a lot of us is just not in tune with the real you, the real self, to know what gifts that you have available. You'd be amazed at stuff you can do. I mean, I amaze myself, stuff I do and think of and it come to pass like that. And, even with prayer, the stuff, God just bring to pass so fast, I had the stroke. He brought me out the hospital, so I had to leave the job. I was working for the Senate, so I couldn't do no stuff I did there. Right after I got out the hospital, he gave me a job. Now I said, okay, I work with people with autism and behavior problems, stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I wanted another job working for even a better company with benefits and everything. And I applied I did not apply. The principal called me. I didn't seek them. He called me. And I got that job. And this is working with Cedar Ridge Ministries, working with children and youth. So, but as to say is that it's important to know what you're getting into as far as the paranormal. It's all glamorous. It's beautiful. We all love it. We all want to tap into it. But know what you're doing. And I tell people all the time to know yourself. Know yourself. Know your motive. What motive you taking in there with you. Because if you're going in there with the wrong motive and uneducated, there are things in there that would jack you up and can do it for life. And a lot of people don't realize that. They just look at the fun part. It's okay to have a name and stuff like that, but you want to be educated on it, And my wife, she was like a skeptic. She used to watch the TV shows. And her first experience, we was in Connecticut with Lorraine Warren, and we went to the gravesite. I'm going to let her tell you her first experience.
Okay, so we were in Connecticut at, I can't remember Union Cemetery, where Ed Warren had seen who he calls the white lady. And so I was at one end of the graveyard and Anthony was at the other. And I was just standing there looking around because Connecticut's kind of creepy. It's kind of dark and all the trees are big and it's just huge. And the gravestones are like huge. Yeah, Scooby-Doo headstones, yeah. But they're beautiful and they're old, because it's really old town up there. And something just touched my arm and it went the whole way up my arm. And I at that time, I freaked out. And he was at the other side, so I'm like, I'm not going to run. I'm walking, but I was walking really fast. And then he saw me coming. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, something just touched me. And I'm like, okay. And then that was my first experience.
Yeah,
that way.
She flew on the other side, and I'm way on the other side. And she, something touched me. I said, "That's what happens," And then this dude came up and put stuff all on my car, witchcraft stuff. And first he was talking to us, then he put some stuff on the car, and I went there, and I said, "Hold up, this guy's putting stuff all over the car," but he left. Then he came back and drove by our car screaming and stuff, and then put more witchcraft stuff on the car. And I said, what's wrong with him? So I took all that stuff and threw it in the cemetery. And then I called Lorraine, and I told her what happened. And she said, honey, yeah, that happens all the time. Because people used to leave stuff on her doorstep every day trying to hurt her, but it never does. She's protected. And so it's you got to be, step out, but be protected, know what you're doing. And as far as getting kids involved in the paranormal, kids are so vulnerable. I wouldn't do it until they're at a good age. Kids are very vulnerable, and things like to attack kids and draw them in and stuff like that. So be careful with that. And I know you guys investigators and was here. Oh, y'all not. Y'all were just investigating. All right, well, yeah, you do that. Be careful, too. You know, be careful in all that you do. Wow. Yeah, you got to be careful. And our life is not long here on earth. You know, it's short. It's short. It's not long at all. So I tell people all the time that think about yourself. I like talking about investigating. I love talking about equipment and stuff like that. But we have people here today that's going to do that. So I talk about our experiences and stuff. But most importantly, what I love talking about is you. You know, you, the person. You get to these investigations or conferences and you don't find too many people talking about the person. They always talking about what they do, who their name is, but they never mention about what's your motive, like I mentioned. If your motive is messed up, stay home. You're not being a help to the field. You know, you're just destroying everything. You get groups that go in these houses to do house cleansings or whatever, and they jacking families up. Some of them just go in the house just to investigate and get what they want to get and leave the family messed up. And then they call us. Stop. You know, that's not right. If you're not going to go and help the family, don't go and investigate the house. Don't leave them hanging like that. So it's best to be serious about what you do. You know, it's a lot of groups, lots of groups. I mean, I was going to do a message one day called The Paranormal, the New Normal, because it's so normal now that the fear has left. When you were coming up, you wouldn't dare do this stuff. You watch The Exorcist or something like that, you don't even want to be bothered with it. You know, you're like, So, but now, so many people became so desensitized to it that they would just jump in the ocean where the sharks are and don't know nothing about it. That's very dangerous. You got to be careful. And when people go into blessed houses, how many people know about blessing houses and sage and incense and Buddhas and all this other stuff? When you get your sage, a lot of people use sage to bless houses, and they think it's so powerful because it's sage. No. It's powerful when you bless it. A lot of people like incense in people's houses just because it's frankincense, because of the name and the smell. Where did you get the incense from? Who had it before you, and what did they pray over it before they gave it to you? So that when you took it and lit it in someone's house and then it started wrecking their house, whatever it was. So whenever we get stuff, we will bless it. We get sage, we will bless it. We will say, look, God, remove anything negative off of this that is on it, if it is. And you bless it with your presence so that when we use it in the house, that it bring peace to the family. That's what you do. Just like when people go to antique stores and buy stuff, you don't know what's up with that. You know, ask God to just bless it, cleanse it, to remove the evil or whatever. Even if it ain't, just do it. Make it a habit so that you can enjoy it. There's so much stuff out there that can destroy you that people just so nonchalant about. You know, incense everywhere. You know, they sell them everywhere, but bless them. I do. It's good too. And I tell people all the time, that's what you do. And how many people here love to visit cemeteries? Yeah. How many people here been to a funeral? Well, when you go to a funeral, there's three things to watch. The born date, you'll see a date, this is when the person was born. You'll see a dash, and then you'll see when they died. We are in the dash. We were born already, so we're that dash. We haven't got to the end date yet, but we will. Death is an appointment we will not miss. So we're in that dash, so check yourself out. Check your motives. Love one another. You know, help each other. If you're in the field, help other people in the field who are uneducated. Don't leave them hanging, and be a part of each other. And I'm going to have my wife read something that I love, and it's called The Dash. And when you listen to it real good.
I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first the date of her birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, to be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?
That's the dash. Now, I know everybody understand that. So, as investigators, researchers, it's people trying to get in the field. It was so much bickery in the field and craziness and stuff go on. You know, it just needs to stop. We need to help each other. We need to be serious about our research. We need to want to research, and we want to be in it for the right cause. So, my message to you today is be there for one another. Be the best researcher you can be. Be the best person you can be who's interested in the field, and know all that you can know. Love each other. Love each other. Guess what? This is fun. I want everybody to look at each other and just say this: we are in this together. And that's what it's about. We're all in it together. Those who want to learn, those who want to know, and those who just getting their feet wet in it. You know, me and my wife, we might not know all of you, but we love you. We love all of you, you know. And from paranormal to Bigfoot to UFO, when you're doing all of this stuff outside of it, it all comes to you, the person, the personality, how you are in your research, how serious you are. Do you want to do research to play, or do you want to do research and learn to make a difference? And that's what we want to do. We want to make a difference in the research. We want to learn. We want to help educate. But we also want to make a difference in ourselves, and when we speak, make a difference in people around us. And that's what we have to say. If there are any questions, feel free. What's up, Kendra? Sister Kendra.
What's the best place you've been to, the most exciting and good experience?
That will be Hillview Manor. Who heard of Hillview Manor? Ooh. Yeah, Hillview Manor. And also what's the place where we were in the attic and all that stuff was happening? We've been to so many places. Not Rolling Hills.
St. Albans.
Oh, yeah. There. St. Albans. We were in the attic and all kinds of stuff started happening. I had to get her out the attic. Yeah, out the attic. It's great. That's the same place our buddy had his experience and got attacked. To protect his name, but he got attacked. And he stopped investigating for a year. That's how messed up it messed him up. But we were there, and man, a lot of stuff went on there. And also Hillview Manor. I mean, Hillview Manor was like a hospital or something. You could be sitting in a chair, and you can actually hear patients getting out the bed. You hear the bed moving and everything. And it's like split halls. So you hear something coming up that way, coming up the steps, coming up that way. You hear walkers. You're like, whoa, you know, it's a lot. So when me and her was on the third floor sitting by ourselves, we had to kind of sit like I face this way and her back to me and face that way, because there's so many directions you got to pay attention to. And you're like, you know, which one do we do? So, yeah. But, also, I tell people all the time, there's mixed feelings about this and stuff, but I tell people all the time, don't investigate your house if you don't know what's there. Don't do it. If you don't want to know what's in your house, do not do it, because you might find out something's there that you don't want in a house or anything, you know, or you might invite something in, you know. Like when people play with Ouija boards, I know what everybody know what that is, Ouija boards, right? I compare it to a party. When you give a party, you invite lots of people, but there's always one person who comes you did not invite. The same thing. Stuff comes in you ain't even invite. You're like, what you doing? It just came. So you gotta just be careful, you know? Be careful in what you do. But yeah, I could go forever. Yes.
Well, you know, like in the Bible, it talks about like, you know, about mediums and that's not always a good thing to do. I've had all kinds of paranormal experiences that I didn't ask for. So, but you're saying your reason for doing it is to help families that are undergoing things they don't understand, that are under oppression. So, is this, you're talking about being protected. So when you're going out there, this is your mission, and you feel this is the right thing for you to do. You have a calling, and it's not a violation of where the Bible talks about mediums.
Like like with mediums and stuff, it does say don't do that. It says don't do a lot. It says don't talk to the dead. It's very clear. It talks about that in, I believe, Deuteronomy. Book of Deuteronomy. It talks about that. And when you hear that, it talks about how dangerous it is. It don't say don't do it. But it talks about how dangerous it is, and Christ knows what can happen. Just like the person who went and summoned up a spirit, but it wasn't who he thought it was. You know, Jesus knows about everything that you could tap into. You know, and that's why another reason why I brought up your spirit. You have spiritual gifts. You're not a medium. Stop calling yourself a medium.
I don't understand how people call themselves.
You know.
You're a medium. How do you know if you're a medium or not?
Yeah. You don't know. And a lot of mediums, I love them dearly, but a lot of mediums that get their information, do you really know who you're getting it from? You got to be careful. You have to really be careful. You know, same with EVPs. That's why we don't really do EVPs. We have a recorder on, but we're not going to ask you a specific question anymore. If you're going to talk, you're going to talk. Like when we set up the camera, and I was putting it up, and it said a little bit lower, or when that thing happened, and that voice said, come on back, we believe that's who attached itself, that person that said that, because we ain't come back. You know, stuff like that. You just have to be careful. But again, we are spirit. We have spiritual gifts, lots of them. I be seeing stuff that blow my mind totally, and then it happen the next day. You know, people will do Reiki, different things, and I pray for people all the time for healing. You know, and our mother was in a hospital. She had a fall. She had a big surgery, then she had a fall. She couldn't move her neck at all. So, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, I went to the hospital where she was. Me and her, we sit down, talk to her. We had communion. We did communion, and I prayed for her. And I just said, God, please touch her neck, touch her body from the top of her head to her soul so that she can be released from this pain. And when I prayed for her and touched her, her mother just jerked real quick and got up and was able to move. So healing is healing. You pray to the Father, he will minister his healing. So it happened. It freaked her out. Happening all, and now she's home. after this, how long was that surgery she had? 6-hour surgery. And we went to the hospital there as well, and now she's home quick. She got home. I got out the hospital really quick because of prayer. Other than that, I could be there or 6 feet under. But yeah, the Bible talks about a lot of stuff. I'm not a Bible scholar or none of that stuff. But I do know that when you look through it, the whole Bible is paranormal. The whole thing. You got so many books out there that are paranormal, but the original paranormal is the scriptures, and not just the little King James version. You got to read the original Greek, Hebrew, and stuff, the original language it comes from, and really dissect that thing. And then you begin to learn and know, and you be like, oh, wow, okay, I understand now. Because if you just read it like you're reading it, whoa, if you read the book of Revelations, just the book of, it'll scare the mess out you if you just reading it. But if you research it, dissect it, and really understand it, then that fear leaves because you understand it. And a lot of people have fear for stuff because they don't understand it. And same with the paranormal world, you know. If you don't understand what you're doing, you will be frightful, and you could get into some stuff that you don't know was happening. And I've done it before. You know, I've been in the stuff that I shouldn't have, but not no more. No, life is too short. You know, I love people and I love myself, and I don't want to mess up, and I want people to do the right thing, you know. But yeah, it can be serious. Any more questions? Somebody had a question over here, and I'm not a psychic. It's like, no, go ahead. What's up? What if you see me? Yeah. How y'all feel? That's good. That's good. If you think you have a gift, talk to someone who's educated in that area so that they can school you and help you and educate you a little more through it on that gift, you see. Like one case we did, a person, they're very gifted, so they see things. They didn't understand their gift. They weren't a medium. They weren't a psychic. They just had a gift. And when we began to talk to them and explain to them about their gift, and they started researching on it, and they started reading scripture on how God places gifts within a person, different things, and now they're not fearful no more because they understand. You know, all of us have a spiritual gift. Now, if our eyes was to open to the spirit realm right now, we will all probably run. That's how powerful that thing is. We just on a shallow. We just see little stuff. If our eyes really open, it'll freak you out because you're not ready for it. So if you study and you can get ready for some, you know, you can learn it and understand who you are and stuff like that, you know. You might be able to walk past people or someone walk past you and you know everything about them. You're not a psychic. It's called the gift of discernment. It's in the scripture. We all have it. You just needed to develop that gift. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you handle criticism for delving in for helping spirituality
Oh, that's easy. Our church, people who are in big positions at our church come to us to help families. They come to us, and we helped a family recently for our church. One thing about the church is that they're very educated in it, but they don't mess with it. They bring a message of joy, love, peace, stuff, and pay your tithes and offerings and help people and stuff like that. But there are very few churches who actually do teachings on that type of stuff. I know a couple pastors that's all they do is teach on the paranormal and dab into that stuff. And when you get a lot of criticism about you helping people who have issues like that, be nice, go to them in love, and say, well, look, where's your Bible? If you look through the Bible, that's all Jesus did, was help people who had issues with the paranormal or the demonic. That was his mission of that in love, and setting people free, setting the captives free. What church are you? Are you following the scriptures, or you just got a happy-pappy message? I mean, which one is it? All through it, that's what you see. So when I see people like that, I tell them, well, you're a Christian or you're a church goer and stuff, and you know all this, but read your scripture. The word even says, study to show yourself approved. Read it, and you will see all through there what he done for people. The guy that was possessed, I think at Adamiat, whatever, that came out with had legions of demons. Jesus took care of that like that. That's very paranormal. I mean, all through the scriptures, you know, is what he done. Even some of the prophets and stuff like that did stuff. So that's all there. I mean, if you're going to believe the Bible, believe the whole thing and not just what you like. That's what I feel. So we get it. We get it all the time. Mm-hmm.
That's not good. However, the lead pastor can do a sermon on witchcraft.
Yeah. He could do a sermon about it. He could go out and pray for people, lay hands on stuff like that. And, yeah, no, it doesn't work that way.
That's why
Yeah.
that's my question, and you answered it. You're the first person who have ever answered it. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it just don't work that way. It doesn't. It doesn't. Thank goodness we have a pastor who's for it. You know, he's like, yeah, let's go get that thing. You know, so take care of it.
Once I explain how I feel my purpose is,
Tell people all the time, when you go to cleanse a house, or if it's something demonic, whatever you're trying to do, whatever's in that house, know your heart. How can a spirit cast out a spirit? You can't. It knows you. So if you come in there with pure love and with faith, that thing got to go. It has to go. As far as a person in the church, you know, after you had a talk, just say, look, I love you. It's okay to disagree. I love you, but when you need me, I'm here. So when they come to you, I know you want to say, I told you so. I told you. No, don't do that. Just say, yeah. Just say, I'm here. What can I do for you? That's all. Just love them. That's all. What time is it? Okay. 3 minutes or so. Any more questions? What's up, couple?
Raise your hands. Yes.
How many cases have you seen where it was like you thought to yourself, the person just had
They just had to move?
to
I see a lot of those cases, but if the person, I'm always right, when a person is married and your husband is the man of the house, take your house back. Whatever's in there is not their house. Take your house back. Get that authority like you have authority over whatever's there, and tell it to get out. And if you don't have that authority and it keep happening, then just move. And then other people say, how many times should I go to a house? How many times? I say, at the minimum, twice. Because if you keep, us as investigators, we go in and do our job. When we leave, the family is still there. They have something to do too. When you instruct them things they need to do and to pray about and together to keep their house together, and if they're not doing their part, but you did yours, and you keep going back and they keep fumbling and not doing what they supposed to, or getting back into what they were doing, that's on them. They needed to stop and they didn't. That was their choice. People like their ghosts. That was their choice. So 2 or 3 or whatever, leave it alone. Yeah. I wouldn't mess with it. A lot of people have a lot of oils. A lot of people have a lot of dust. Really. Take a picture outside after it rain, you get billions of orbs. But a real orb, you could tell by the flight pattern and different things. Yeah, and if you have them there, and if it bothers you, just say get out, leave. You know, you just say leave. You just get out, but mean it. Spirits know whether you mean it or not. These are spirits. Some spirits are spirits of the ages. They've been here way before us, and I'm not talking about human spirits. You know, orbs. I've seen a lot of stuff with that too. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that too. You have to be real careful with the faces thing, because you can stare at a picture or the wall and make a face out of it. You have to be real careful so that you don't deceive your own self. Just be real careful when you see faces or hundreds of faces popping up. Be careful about that. Check your camera lenses. Is it clean? You know, do everything to debunk it before you call it paranormal. Our first step is to go in and debunk stuff before we decide anything is paranormal. And then, if it's stuff going on and you can't find a natural reason for it, then take the next step. But debunk everything as hard as you can before you call something paranormal. Know what you're doing. Cool? And Brian like, all right, come on, what you doing? But yeah, debunk everything, and I love debunking stuff. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I ain't gonna even say the name of the bed and breakfast. We have the bed and breakfast, and you know they have a little book on the table that tells you everything paranormal that goes on. So people signing it, and everyone's writing the same thing about this left side window when you walk in. If you put EMF detectors or anything on it, it's gonna go crazy. It was a picture, and it did. We did it, and I said, okay. There's the wall, and it's a window. All right, let me look out the window. There were about 15 big wires leaving that wall by the window behind the picture, just going to the next building right there. There's your spikes. And we wrote it kindly in the book. Just look out the window and see what you see. That's that. But there was stuff that went on paranormal in it, though, because we went to breakfast and I left stuff running. And our detectors went off. And in front of the camera, you seen the shadow just walk slowly to the other side of the room. And I have that on video, all that stuff. We couldn't debunk that, because in the bed and breakfast, it's dark. Because them curtains are like pitch dark curtains. And in the middle of the day like this, in the room is like dark. You need a night light. So we had a few night lights and stuff, you know, whatever. But yeah, this first equipment went off. And then something just kind of walked right across the camera. I say, wow. And one thing that dawned on me, though, I'm sorry, is that it was early. We was at breakfast, so whoever was in the other rooms heard our equipment going crazy for a good hour. And we forgot it was like early. I say, oops. But yeah, that's where you got it, though. So, but thank y'all so much. Me and my wife, thank you. We love you guys. And whoever come back, we'll bring you another message or something else. Remember, I think it's 1 o'clock, 1:30, Kendra will be here. You don't want to miss. Who heard of the Jenny Way House and the orphanage and all that stuff? She used to do a lot there, work there, do reenactments, all kinds of stuff. You don't want to miss that. All right? Thank you, guys. We love you.
All right, give it up for Anthony and Deena once again. I'm sure it was a very informative lecture. Thank you guys so much for coming. So at 12:30, In a few minutes, we're going to be, if you're interested, there's going to be a President's Museum tour led by Jenny and myself. And we will kind of be giving some historical things as well as some haunted happenings that we've experienced in the museum. That's going to be forming right where you came in the front door at. So if we could all just gather down there if you're interested. If not, I encourage you to roam around the building, check out all the antiques, artifacts we have here, check out the vendors, get some food, and just enjoy yourself. All right, guys? And we'll reconvene back up here at 1:30 for Kendra's talk.